meeting in prayer, and just it's our first time in the first year to do this. So just want to welcome John and Ian, being new to the Board of County Commissioners, and thank you for this opportunity. All commissioners, welcome, and thank you. Father, we just come before you this morning, and Lord, you're doing some great things in our nation, and we're delighted that you're going to be doing great things in our community, and we thank you for these men and women who hold these offices. We ask, God, that you would just pour out your wisdom and discernment upon them, Lord, that you would allow them to make wise decisions, and that you would just bring about a spirit of unity amongst them and people of the community in each and every decision that they make, God, that your interest would be put first, that all selfishness would be laid aside, and that most of all, Lord, you just be glorified, Lord, in their hearts, in their lives. Lord, bless their families, their marriages, and their occupations, Lord God. Just allow these items on the agenda today to go forth, and may you help them make the best decision for the best of our community. We love you, God. We thank you for this time. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. All right, we're going to open this meeting of the joint meeting of the Nye County Board of Commissioners at all. And Manager, can we do number 1? And I was going to ask if Dr. Tom wanted to lead us in the pledge. On the mic.
Love to, thank you. All together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All right, Manager, number 2, please.
General public comment, up to 3-minute time limit per person. Public comment will be for all matters off the agenda. Action will not be taken on the matters considered during this period until specifically included on an agenda as an action item first.
Thank you. And Param, please.
Caroline Logue, Logue. Nevada has neither sanctuary nor non-sanctuary laws prohibiting or mandating local and state law enforcement agencies cooperate with federal immigration enforcement officers. Immigration is a federal issue. Any federal efforts concerning immigration in Nevada should be paid for by the federal government. Governor Lombardo attended a meeting of Republican governors in mid-January to discuss how states can best assist the federal government, and signed a joint statement with our governor in December announcing his readiness to deploy the Nevada National Guard and state law enforcement as part of the mass deportation campaign. Nye County Sheriff McGill has an agreement to cooperate with ICE and Homeland Security, which was approved by the BOCC. A contract with ICE to house detainees in the Nye County Jail was rejected by the BOCC as it contained requirements which obligated the county to make certain county resources available, such as medical care, mental health care, and other detainee service needs if ICE wasn't able to adequately provide the needs of the detainee. The local private prison has signed a contract to take in alleged illegal immigrants and house them for further adjudication. It's unknown at this time if the local private prison, which has agreed to house detainees, are under those same contractual requirements. If so, the sheriff is under the obligation to ascertain whether the county has the requirements to provide any services, as well as reporting his findings to the BOCC and the public. Humanitarian considerations are integral to many of your constituents' beliefs in the rule of law. I request that Sheriff McGill be requested to ascertain if there will be any costs for any county services in the contract signed by the private prison. and bring the findings to the next BOCC meeting as an agenda item so that the citizens of Nye County will be informed about any use of their tax dollars that would be requisitioned and spent on the mass deportation of alleged illegal immigrants, as well as any federal abrogation, repeal, or abolition of a law, right, or agreement legally established under local jurisdiction. Thank you.
Next in Pahrump, please. How are you today?
Good morning. Tina Dixon, Dickson, and Mellow, Mellow. We're here on behalf of personally trained service dogs to let the public know that we do service dog training on a regular basis. And occasionally we have dogs that are more or less fully trained. And I say that because if a dog is trained fully, once they are matched with a person, they also need to go through some training with their new dog so that they make a good team. And occasionally we do have dogs that are in that position. They're pretty much fully trained and just need to find a person. So we are currently looking for a person that has either PTSD or hearing issues, and Mello is volunteering to be their partner. So in general, we have classes twice a week on Monday and Saturday at 2. And even if you just need behavior adjustments with your pup, you can still attend class. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. And would you also remind us or me when your next graduation is?
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody on the phone? Jeannie?
Yes, Chair, the caller is unmuted. Please.
Sorry.
Okay. The caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Karen Waldman, W-A-L-D-M-A-N. I'm requesting this to be made part of the public record. We have a new president and direction for our country, including tackling the monstrous debt, which we all know is unsustainable. With a spending freeze at the federal level and with the state of Nevada facing an over $330 million budget deficit, it's fair to say that all spending at every level will have to be scrutinized for necessity and common sense. The days of getting COVID money are gone. It's way past time to get our fiscal house in order here. I expect many of the traditional grants that fund the various nonprofits here will be scarce, and you will need to put your thinking and fiscal caps on to pare down all of the requests for matching grant funds that come before you starting immediately. Get used to saying, no, we'd like to be able to help, but it's not in our budget. The county supporting the overhead of the nonprofits by doling out a steady stream of taxpayer money that in many cases does little to achieve their platform outside of paying for their own expenses and salaries, many, as you will see in upcoming items, that range from $86,000 to $100,000 per person per year for duties that include simple tasks like data entry and filing. We can no longer afford the luxury of handing money out without asking the serious questions of just where is this money going? How many people have been truly helped by these funds? What is the cost per person we paid to help them? And would we have gotten a better result by demanding more accountability or going a different direction? At this point, it seems you are doing more to keep the nonprofits in business and achieving the proposed outcome. The imbalance between funds received and funds paid out for the targeted need appears to be diminishing with each new influx of county cash. When I see tens of thousands of dollars of taxpayer funds going out the door to the same groups that literally have such a dismal success rate, it's time for a serious look at where our own diminished funds should be going. And it's frustrating for me to watch some of the same players get taxpayer money for being ineffective when our Pahrump Museum is starving for funds and is an actual side trip attraction for tourists that come to our town. Last year, over 7,000 visitors went through the museum here from over 8 countries and every single state but 3. It is truly a gem, and it's shameful that you seem to be able to throw funds at the nonprofits and see very little that abandon our museum, a part of history we can't afford to let disappear. Let's get our priorities straight. Do we want to give tourists a place to see, or do we want to waste money on handouts that produce little to nothing? Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. In Pahrump, please.
Tina Von Kugelin, BOND-KUGLIN. Good morning to our county commissioners. I'm not here to upset anyone, but I am here to help you understand how I feel about the business license process. And yes, I know you will see it's your policy and procedure, and yes, policy and procedure that this county put in place, that each of the old and new employees, boards, and commissioners have put into place and changes when they see fit. Your business procedure is not fair, nor is it just for everyone. It's very discriminatory to some, especially when employees approve or deny based on their feelings being hurt when someone stands up for themselves. Some business owners can walk into the county courthouse, apply for a business license, and have it in just hours. Others must join your circus and perform like monkeys, sometimes for years, to get approved. And approval is just for a CPU. It's not for a business license. If someone has a state business license and all the necessary documents state requires, there is no reason that a county or town license should be granted or not granted. Not all business licenses are required approval from the county or town to operate. An example of this, I have my license notary in the state of Nevada since 2011. I can notarize work anywhere in the state of Nevada, and I do not need any other license from the county or town levels. I have followed all procedures to get my business license both on the state and the county town levels, but I was denied because someone didn't like my questioning their procedure. I even had someone trespass on my property to put up a sign. The county planning and building department has known since 2022 the plans I have for my property. We spoke in court about my dream to have a boarding facility and to eventually work with mentally challenged individuals. They had plenty of opportunity to go over what was required of the boarding facility with me. I am willing to do whatever I have to for my business license, contacting state representatives, lawyers, class action lawsuits, different petition, freezing the county from working, educating others to do the same. I'm asking the county commissioners to step in and grant me my business license and save everyone the time and the energy of drawing this out any further. I would also like the county to take a look at changing the policy and procedure on business licenses. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you very much. On the phone, Sam, anybody?
No, Chair.
Ian Parup, hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Diane Southworth, SOUTH-WORDH. Just have some information from me from our community outreach meeting. I have a full year of the amount of food that was distributed from each one of the different distribution centers. So I thought that was important that you would have that. We also have a new thing going on at Night Community Coalition. Big Brothers and Big Sisters is back in business, which I think is a really good thing and can be a help to this community. So there is information, and I think it would be something that we should be looking at throughout the community. Also, we just want to remind you that the Nevada has a Good Samaritan Act. So if you have somebody who is experiencing an overdose, you can help them, call 911, administer Anoxamil, and not be in any danger. We have some free classes with Tamala Taylor, I always get her name mixed up, Taylor, that may help people. It's going to be in person and online. And in person, it's at Great Basin. And this will help to increase your balance, strength, flexibility, coordination, and ability to relax. We also have gentle yoga, which is being scheduled at the Night Community Coalition. And then we also have a Eating Smart and Being Active, which is going on, which is an 8-week journey for better eating. I have a complete list of the food pantries. And we're also doing a chronic health problem seminar starting January 6th through February 24th at Pahrump Valley Apartments. Places to dispose of of your drugs that you're no longer using. So we have all of those. We also are still working on mental health and drug overdose problems. Also housing, we're still working on that. I'm ashamed to say, but I think that what we've turned into in this county, or in this town, is nothing but a retirement community or a bedroom community to Vegas. So that's something that I think the commissioners and the planning commission need to look at to see if there is a way to streamline this so the average working person can afford a home. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. In Pahrump, please.
Good morning, Karen Hanks, KarenHanks. I am one of the applicants for the public defender contract. Is that not the time to do the comment?
No.
Okay, I will do that
On
later.
the item, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sam, do we have anybody on the phone?
No, Chair.
In Pahrump, Daryl.
Daryl Lackey, Lackey. Well, we have the siders here are all Republicans. And 4 of you have all proven that you're more loyal to the party than to humanity here. Because you've all haven't done anything for moving towards solving the homeless problem. But let me tell you something about the news. The news is going to be continually demonizing Mexico, and I'm going to tell you why right now. Mexico voted out the two-party system, and they're now flourishing. They don't have Republican and Democrat or whatever the equivalent was anymore in Mexico. It's honest people that are running the country. Okay, the first president for 6 years, he built his own refinery. They have their own refinery. Now this president, she's building military. She's cleaning up the cartel. All the cartels. She's cleaning all this up. Because they don't have the corruption anymore. The presidents, they say that how they're giving money to Mexico. No, they're not taking money. They borrow money from Mexico now. Let me tell you something about Mexico. Mexico is every country's friend. And you know what United States is to every country? Because of the corruption behind our leadership, is every country's enemy. That's us. We didn't do it. I didn't do it. I'm trying to do something to get away from there. But here we are. Our leadership is all Republican. And so far, 4 of you have proven that you're more loyal to the Republican Party than you are to humans. So here we are. Here we are. Mexico voted out the two-party system. Now they're not a corrupt country anymore. They're not taking the money. They don't have the jets, okay? The presidents, they don't have the Secret Service. They don't have the guards and everything because people don't want to kill them.
Thank you. In Pahrump, please.
Good morning. Doug Campbell, Campbell, just like soup, no relation. I'm here in support for Sanders Winery.
We have to wait for that item. I'm so sorry. But we have to
Okay.
vote on that item. Okay. Please. Thank you. In Pahrump, please.
Ron Mortensen, Mortinson. I want to start by saying I'm very thankful that you guys have got the skate park actually completed. A lot of the work was very nice, but it was like rough in a sense it would cause like abrasion issues, and you folks had your county workers actually go out and sand out the roughness. So it's all nice, it's all good, it's all done. I also wanted to say that I have concern with some relationship issues among some county employees that could cause conflict of interest issues. I will hope that people will watch out for that. That's pretty important. And also, I just want to say I concur with everything that Karen Walden had to say. 100%. Thank you very much.
Thank you. In Pahrump.
Good morning, Kay Lapointe, last name Lapointe. I'm here for 2 reasons. The first being, we do have Nicotillion off the ground at J.G. Johnson, so I'm going to drop with Janie some of our dates. Most importantly is our performance, which will be on Saturday, May 10th. And then we have a cake auction on Saturday, April 5th at the Moose Lodge. So I'm going to leave that with Janie. The other reason I'm here is to, I don't know if you've seen the front of the PV Times. You might want to pick one up or look online. but Trump Force 47 did make front page with our inaugural celebration, which was Monday at our place. And I'd like to thank 3 of our commissioners, Commissioner Koenig, Commissioner Strickland, and Commissioner Jabor, for attending. And you'll see your name in the byline there, so thank you so much. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kay.
Sam, do we have anyone on the line?
No, Chair.
Hello, Miss Vicki.
Hi, Vicki Gladsjo, Gladsjo. I'm kind of here on behalf of BJ Hetrick. I would like to thank our community and the commissioners for the support that we have received over the last year. Due to 2 of our programs, our USO show and our Christmas show, we were able to raise $15,000 that we were able to give back to our community, which I think is pretty remarkable, and they always go to organizations that really need our assistance. Also, for your information, June 19th, please mark your calendar, will be BJ Hetrick's 100th birthday. We are planning a community picnic in the park, but I would hope that perhaps the commissioners would consider maybe making some kind of a proclamation or something in that regards to recognize the service that she has provided to our community over the years. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. In Pahrump, Dr. Tom.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Tom Waters, Waters. Just a couple things, and thinking about BJ being 100 is a biggie. So we definitely have to make something out of that. I'm the chairman of the Pahrump Prostate Cancer Support Group. We don't meet in November and December because of the holidays. So this is the first meeting of 2025, and we'll be meeting on next Tuesday, the 28th. We always meet on the 4th Tuesday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And we meet right across from the Nevada State Bank in the Hafen building, classroom number 10. I'm sorry, for the Prostate Cancer Support Group, we meet at the DAV building, which is the town annex. And we do meet from 6 to 7:30. We normally talk about prostate cancer, but this meeting we're going to be talking about brain cancer, maybe breast cancer, and some other cancers. So we're inviting everyone to come out, men and women, to hear about exactly how to live with cancers, what you can do, some of the things that people have done to survive. And those are things that we're looking for. The other thing I want to talk about is the Veterans Finance Committee. You graciously provide money for veterans each year. How to spend the money is very difficult. I know because of the open meeting law, you can't talk to each other. So we have the Veterans Finance Committee where we get together and we provide the information so that you can vote on it. And so far, everything that we presented to you, 100%, you have approved. The banners that you see on Calvada, that's just one of the items. When we talk about personally trained service dogs for veterans, you've taken care of that as well. There's so many things that you're using this money for, and we really appreciate it. The Veterans Finance Committee meets on the 31st. It's on Friday from 3 until 4:30. And that's the one in the Hafen building in classroom number 10. And we definitely would like anyone that has any ideas of how to do something for veterans to come out to our meeting. It's an open meeting, but we're looking for ideas on how to spend the money. The last thing I'd like to talk about is the Veterans Extravaganza. It's going to be the first Friday in March. It'll be at the Bob Root Community Center from 10 till 2, and it's to provide information for veterans and their families. This is something we do every year. We have a fantastic turnout. We normally see the commissioners out there all the time, and we're so glad for all the support we receive from the community. And again, it's for the veterans, and I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sam, do we have anyone on the phone?
Yes, Chair. The caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Beth Borisevich, Borysewich. I'm calling in because I just broke my glasses on the way out the door, and there's no way I can drive anywhere. I'm going to speak here from my heart a little bit. I was totally totally blindsided and flabbergasted last month or earlier this month when you appointed the new town manager and the relations between him, commissioners, the DA's office. I was saying, and I have said on Voices in my county that I was going to put in an ethics complaint. I do have it written up. I have it sitting here. But after speaking with one of the commissioners, and I'm going to point you out, Commissioner BOCC, and we had a long conversation, and I decided to put it on hold. I am watching every one of you commissioners, Mr. Bain and Mr. Koenig, who said they were against corruption, have on their very first meeting gone back on their word. So I don't believe either one of you on anything you ever say going forward. So I am going to try not to be as negative as I have been. However, you guys need to understand that you work for us. We can recall you. We can go ahead and have another vote. Please start thinking of the people in this town before you think about doing anything else with our money. I am totally upset with each and every single one of you. As my employees, if I could fire you, I would. But I'm going to try and be civil about this and not attack you anymore. This is the last time I'm going to do it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Beth. Anybody else, Sam?
No, Chair.
Seeing, hearing none, here or Tonopah or on the phone, we're closing public comment. Let's go to number 3, please.
Item number 3, Commissioner Manager comments. This item is limited to announcements, brief discussions of public comments, correction of factual inaccuracies, direction to staff, or topics proposed for future board meetings. Lengthy deliberation of topics not on the agenda is prohibited by the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
Thank you. Let's start with New Donna. Ian.
Thank you. Actually, I do have a few things I wanted to say very, very quickly. I'm going to be doing I'm just driving my pickup truck around picking up garbage on the side of the road. And a few people have asked for some reason to join me. I didn't think that would be the most exciting thing I've done here in town, but apparently it is. So if anybody wants to, I don't know how much garbage there is out there, but on the 30th, on Thursday, I'm going with a few people, probably not that day, but if anyone has any interest in doing that for whatever strange reason, I will be doing that regularly. I'm not going to be picking, there's a great group in town that does that, picking up cups and everything. It's not going to be that. It's just picking up big junk that's just on the side of the road. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, so moving forward, if you want to email me on the county website, if you're interested in doing that, I have a pickup truck. It's not the biggest one because my cab is giant. So if anyone has a bigger back of that, that would be helpful. The only other thing I would say is that myself and Commissioners BOCC and Strickland were here on, I think it was Monday, I don't recall. There's a group called Awkward Silence. It's a 4-H robotics club, and it's for they're trying to kind of get off the ground with different age groups. The thing about that is, and these kids I don't think understand how important this is. I think the organizer does, but when you go through something like this, as much as you see it's just a little robot that they've designed, but these are the kind of skills that really separate you, and you'll remember that for the rest of your life. And as someone who went in the wrong direction, and I was in the right direction, then in the wrong direction, and I got myself back on track. If I had something like that, maybe I wouldn't have made a lot of mistakes I made. I certainly made plenty of them. So I just would encourage everybody, if you have any way to get involved, it's called Awkward Silence 4-H. I'm going to be watching them and trying to promote them as much as we can up here. I believe it's a nonprofit. I'm not sure what the classification is, but so important for the community because I don't know how much there is out there for young people here, but I just can't say enough to be supportive of them. Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you, Commissioner Bain. Commissioner Koenig.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to say I am very happy to be back. There are a bunch of people that are happy to have me back, and apparently, listening to my neighbor on the phone just a minute ago, she's not too happy. So, I'm going to comment on your comment on awkward silence. I've been a supporter of them since my last journey on this board. They do great work. They are a 401c3. I missed you down there because I was in and out, just dropping off a check. But they do great things with kids. I wish I had that kind of stuff when I was a kid. I mean, we had an erector set and Lionel trains, and that was about it. And Lincoln Logs, I think. So, of course, that was a long time ago. Very long time ago. I have direction to staff, direction to the county manager to work with the sheriff, district attorney, finance, and HR to address three major financial components of the jail fund: jail medical services contract, food services, and staffing levels. So if we can get that started and report back regularly as to where we are. That's all I have right now. Let's have a good meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Jabbour.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. I will just briefly touch on one item that I believe the sheriff and our fire chief, he's excused himself, but I would hope and think that you would mention something about the missing plane that's been all over the news. But I will just scratch the surface and thank everybody for their support of the sheriff's office, their staff, the emergency services, fire. It was up at Mount Jefferson area that the plane was discovered by the game warden who actually used to work for me while he was going to college. Unfortunately, it was almost 11,000 feet elevation of where they ended up finding parts of the plane, etc. So we want to thank the Sheriff's Office and Emergency Service, everybody that went out search and rescue, that diligently tried since, I want to say, the early and first week of January, once it was reported, and up until just recently. So moving on from that, I want to thank the county manager and William Allen, our Director of Buildings and Grounds, for taking care of the flags throughout the county, out of respect to the new president and the inauguration of raising the flags and then returning them back as mandated and requested by the former president. Buildings and Grounds and Public Works, as you heard at the last meeting, people came and they spoke in regards to the senior center in Tonopah. That parking lot is being addressed. It was a long time to get the product in order to apply the product. It's not that we were neglecting that area at all. We're actually not neglecting any of the areas throughout the county. It just takes time, and our staff is prioritizing, and that's exactly what they did in the last 2 weeks at the senior center. So I thank the staff for doing that. And then finally, Mello, can you hear me? He's listening. Mello, it's okay. I was listening to you too while you were at the podium, and I know you were voluntold to do what she said that you were going to volunteer for. But thank you and I even noticed when you first walked in that you had a new puppy with you, and thank you for doing what you do. Yeah. Thank you, Chair.
Got it. Thank you. Too much fun. 100th year birthday for BJ is a holiday. It's Juneteenth. They declared her birthday a holiday. How about that? That was well done, gotta say. Arlette Ledbetter is retiring on Friday the 24th of 18 years of service with your tourism director. Thank you, Arlette, for the work you've done. And finally, Zillow named the most popular markets for 2024 and named 6 different categories of markets is all. Pahrump hit that market as the most popular for retirement. So now you know they're coming. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have a whole lot other than I want to thank everybody near and far for being here, staff and commissioners. And I would like to look into, and I've said this before, but I would really like to streamline the business license process. So if you're somebody from wherever, Crystal, and you want to move into Pahrump or start a business in Pahrump, I would really like us to follow the North Las Vegas track that they're on, where you can go to North Las Vegas in 48 hours, you can be pretty much in business. So I would really like us to be able to do that and make it more business friendly and more appealing for businesses to be here. So with that said, that's really all I have. And we'll close out that. Nope. Oh, sorry.
We got more.
We have more. Come right on up.
Christy Sigmund, SIEGMUND, Manager of Animal Services. So starting with a positive statistic, in 2024, our Nye County Animal Shelter earned its no-kill status. So we had less than 6% loss through the shelters, which is wonderful. And that loss contributed to solely severe illness and severe injury. We did not euthanize for space. And so that is a really, really amazing feat and an amazing accomplishment for our team. So I wanted to share that. Unfortunately, with that status comes a lot of struggle, and struggle is space. We currently have 110 dogs in our facility, a facility built with 79 kennels. We have dogs in rooms that we built retriever kennels, the ones that you see up at Tractor Supply. We have those in rooms. We have them in hallways. Even my office actually has 2 kennels in it and has animals in it. We are doing the best that we can. I've had people say, well, Christy, there's kennels outside. Well, those kennels that were constructed outside were done so in an emergency status, and they're not to where they really truly should be for long-term holding. And they also are not to the standards of keeping an animal out of the elements, which is something that we require everybody else to do, so we should be doing the same ourselves. So with that challenge, I've been here now 10 months, and myself and my team have come up with a ton of solutions, and we continue to find solutions. But now I ask for the community support. Please, 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 secure your animals. Keep them in your property. And if your animal ends up in the shelter, because we all know things happen, please come and get it. It's not a negative. There's no judgment. Just come and get your animal. In fact, we're actually waiving, not adoption fees, we're waiving impound fees for the rest of the month because we just need these animals to go home. So as we continue to find solutions, I plead with the community, please help us be part of that solution because we cannot do it without you. We can't. We do work with other no-kill and organizations and facilities, not only here in Pahrump, but also in Las Vegas and Utah. But they're in the same boat as well. They're very full. And our community can't rely on other communities to help us with our problem. So please, 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 if you are missing an animal, check our website. If you think that an animal has been out, work with us. We'll help you find it. We'll help you rehome or get you reconnected again and get these babies home. So, thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Sheriff, you're up.
Good morning, Sheriff Joe McGill. I'll give you some information in reference to what's been going on with this aircraft. The pilot was reported missing to Metro Police on January 2nd. On January 5th, we received some information that the plane had passed through, and why it's showing up as January 5th, we can't really explain. We don't know. This past weekend, Saturday afternoon, I believe it was, the aircraft was, what we believe is the aircraft was located. It was in a extremely rough terrain area on Mount Jefferson, up near Round Mountain. We have exhausted all attempts to get the equipment and the access to go up and retrieve what we believe to be the body. But we don't even know for sure if the pilot is still in the aircraft or not. Nobody has been able to get physically to the aircraft. We are working on that. We keep running into issues that is beyond anyone's control. One of the biggest issues is the elevation. And so we have to have certain types of aircraft in order to get to the area. And the remote, the fact that it is so remote, there's no trails, it's a walk. The ranger that found the aircraft walked a 12-mile round trip and spent 8 hours doing it. So that's kind of where we're at. And then on the same subject, I just posted, but I want to make a public apology for the insensitive posting that I made on Facebook and on our app yesterday in reference to the aircraft without talking to the family first. And that is what it is. If anyone has any questions in reference to this, I'll try to answer them.
Board.
I have nothing, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sam, do we have any directors or manager types on the phone?
No, Chair.
All right, we're going to close that out now.
I could.
Number.
Sorry.
Hold on.
Sorry.
We're reopening 3.
Well, first I want to start being a veteran and oftentimes suffering from PTSD. I could use Mello at a meeting, I think so. I'm watching him over here. He's interesting. But no, I just wanted to give a quick update. As I think most of the board knows, I'm actually the president of the Friends of the Belmont Courthouse. And a few months ago, this board had authorized us to rebuild the front steps. Those are now complete.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah,
It
the
turned out
pictures
great.
are
We saw it.
amazing.
Stretch showed it to us.
Yeah, and so did a phenomenal job on it. I know there was a lot of angst over what was going to do as far as the historical features, but I think it actually adds value to the building. It really invites people in. There's now a ramp that we can get wheelchairs up into it. And the work, the craftsmanship was amazing. So yeah, and again, kudos. Public Works was a big help. They were able to bring up some gravel that we bought to finish getting the base and everything done. So it really was a great project, and I just again kind of encourage people to explore Nye County and get up to Belmont, and the courthouse really is a real treasure, and it's a really a cool place. So I think it's worth the trip up there. They actually have a pretty fun 4th of July celebration up there with a big community lunch and everything, and you just have to be careful of Jim Marsh's water gun that he likes to squirt people from the parade. They do a walking parade, and so again, it's just a fun, nice community event up there. So,
Thank you very much for that, DA. And yes, the courthouse is very cool up there. If you haven't been, you need to go. All right, are we done? Are we done now? We done with? All right, we're done. Closing that back up. Let's go to number 4.
Item number 4, approval of the agenda for the January 22nd, 2025. Commissioners, we are going to remove item number 5 on page 1. And then on page 7, item number 37.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, let's close that and move on to number 6, please. Nope.
6, please. A lot of drivers up there today. That's okay. We need all the help we can get. Item number 6, 10 a.m. timed item for possible action, discussion and deliberation regarding the monthly statement of county treasurer pursuant to NRS 354.280, including receipts, balances in funds, money on deposit, outstanding checks, and cash on hand. Sam, do we have Raylan on the phone?
Good morning, Commissioners. Raylan Powers, POWERS, Treasurer for Nye County. Is everybody able to hear me today?
Loud and clear. Thank you for joining us.
Perfect. Thank you for having me, Commissioners. The monthly report that we have today is for the month of November 2024, fiscal year 25. I would just like to share that these two reports, the Treasurer's Report and the Bank Reconciliation, they are not financial reports. They are not accounting reports. They are also not budget reports. The Treasurer's Report is simply a report that provides the cash balance in the funds and is the backup detail to the bank balances that are reflected on our bank reconciliation. The bank reconciliation is a tool that we utilize to make sure that all of the activity in our bank accounts is reported and recorded correctly in our accounting software. The last pages of each of those reports, you'll notice beginning month balances, deposits, withdrawals, adjustments, and end of month balances all tie to one another. The bank reconciliation takes into account items such as outstanding checks that have not cleared the bank. You will notice this month we do have an increase in our vendor account and our payroll account for outstanding checks. You will have an increase when we have a weekly check run and a payroll at the end of the month. Obviously, if we issue checks that are dated the last week of a month, those checks are not going to be able to clear the bank before that month closes. The other items on our bank reconciliation are either deposits in transit or things that we have identified need additional correction, but they are always going to be items that have either occurred in our accounting system and not yet in our bank account, and vice versa, items that have occurred in our bank account but have not yet been recorded in our accounting system. I will mention that interest and market changes will always be a month behind. We have to wait for all of our months to close in order to obtain our statements. So the amounts, the market change that we experienced in October, which was a market loss for the purposes of these reports of just $1.4 million, you will notice that is reflected in our November Treasurer's Report and our bank reconciliation. I do want to share that November, we did level out a little bit. Those rates for the market changes did level out. We do have a positive in our market change for the month of November.
Thank you. Thank you, Raylan. Commissioners, do we have any questions for Raylan?
I have no question. What I have direction to staff when you're prepared. If you want to ask the public if they have any comments.
Yeah, let's do public. Do we have any public comments on the phone?
Yes, Chair, the caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Morning, this is Tim Bohannon, Bohannon. Just a couple items of note. Keep an eye on Lakeview Golf Course. Make sure that that negative turns positive, and make sure they're accounting to you for their progress on that. Also, Manhattan Water was underwater this time, so to speak. So just keep an eye on that. The other thing, which is probably a little bit more pressing because the other balances were minor but still important, is taking a look at the county cash accounts. You know, what I've gotten into a few discussions on this. I know I've mentioned it before, but I'd like to get closer to the finish line on this. We have 172 million of cash in the cash accounts, and like the treasurer said, which she did an excellent job in the intro, noting that it's not finance, it's not accounting, it's not the budget, it is the cash position, and it's important for us to note that. But the next question to be asked, and that gets asked from CPAs like me and other financial people, of the 172 million, how much is of that is spoken for? And that's something I would like to see a little bit more. I think that falls probably more to the finances than it does Treasury. So I'll probably hit that a little bit in the finance report too. But getting some communication, which I believe there's been a lot better communication since the last group, if you will, or the last pair that were doing it before, permanent pair that were doing it before. And I think it's important that communication between finance and treasury always occur. It'll help strengthen our financial look and help give you all better information to do your analysis and decision making. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Anybody else on the phone, Sam?
Yes, Chair, the caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michael David Garcia, Garcia. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Sorry I missed y'all in the first round, but thankfully we're talking about the financial side of it, and I want to encourage y'all that we do have looking back laws, which gives us a 5-year scope to go back on any of the water that might be on the spreadsheets. You know, so the important part defensively is you want to keep in mind on your constitutional oath that the spirit always is above the matter, okay? So just because you can't see the water on the floor plan doesn't mean it's there. And I'm telling you, I just, changing the filter is an easy thing. So I see it. I'll be willing to sit down with y'all. Y'all been processing fraud for way too long. And it's there. So maybe I'll, the FOIA side of this end may be a little more friendly or user ready when it comes to showing y'all the data. So at the end, I'll be more than glad to help you, but it does come down to state and civil when the federal fails to step in as well. So we're really trying to do a concentration on civil and federal procedure 60B4. That's our out. So, you know, good luck with the council there that you have, but they're really handicapping you with inferior statutes and the whole process side of it. Everybody sees the administrative chokehold and how everything's been done. County, state, and federal, it's all the same. So once we get a real good grip on it, you know, the numbers don't lie, folks. It's easier than twisting the language around. But thank y'all and have a good one.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Anybody else on the phone?
No, Chair.
Closing public. Let's do number 7.
I'll hold on, sir.
Please.
May I?
Yes, please. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. It's all right. I have
Go right ahead. We're open back up here.
Okay, I have a direction to staff. I wanted to see an agenda item come forward. The board needs to be looking at, we've talked about repeatedly the first page of this and the 172 million. Absolutely every bit of that money is spoken for. But I believe that this board needs to have a look, a good hard look at our current, man, I cannot think what it's called. Yesterday we had a meeting with the assistant manager, Raylene Powers and Dan MacArthur. I met with them. And there is a policy in place that says what Raylene can do with money and investments, okay? I think this board needs to look at that policy and see if we want to make a change. And that's as much as I can say outside of it being an agenda item. I'd love for you to hear what I heard. Thank you very much.
So that's direction.
Staff. I want to see a item. I want this board to be able to work respectfully with the treasurer and Dan MacArthur to get up to speed on that page in regards to investment policy and bring it forward for the public so we can discuss it. Okay? Thank you.
Anything for, anybody else have anything regarding Raylan?
Excuse me, that's a motion. I think, no, direction of staff, good enough? Direction, good enough. Thank you, sir.
Commissioner DeBoer, you got anything? All right, we're closing that and moving on to number 7. Let's do these plaques.
Yay! Fun stuff?
Oh, yes.
And then a comfort break. That's a good idea. Good idea. I'm going to turn your mic off.
10 years. That's not Joseph.
No, I was pointing at Arnold.
Arnold.
To take a picture.
Oh.
He's not ready yet.
We have a 10-year plaque for Joseph Massa, who's with Pahrump Valley Fire Department.
Is he not here?
Joseph here? No? Thank you, Joseph. If he's listening, he's probably at work. And Chief, again, he's in and out, and he's dealing with
Yeah, something.
yes. So we have Melissa Stepp, another 10 years, and she's now with Natural Resources with the
Want us to
county.
come to you?
Yeah, we can come to you.
Yeah, we're coming to you.
You know the expression, break a leg, we were only kidding.
Congratulations, Melissa. Good job, honey. Good job. Yay. Come on. Come down for Arnold. Right there. You want to get up here? Thank you. Good job.
Thank you, Melissa.
What they ended up doing.
John, Julie. Yeah. One more?
2 more.
Two more.
No, one more commissioner. He had to escape.
Lost
So we have another 10-year for John Tolley III with Nye County Sheriff's Office. John here? He's probably out in the field. So congratulations, John, and thank you, Sheriff and Tammy, for John's service. Thank you.
Next one, my nose here.
Oh my gosh.
Now it's wood.
You know, I was only teasing her earlier. It's a 20-year plaque, and I said it was 22 karat gold plated, and look at this. Absolutely. Rachel Aldana, I'm sorry. Yeah, congratulations.
Oh, Rachel, thank you, baby. Oh, you mean so much to us. You do such great work. Minutes.
We're going to take a comfort break for 7 minutes and 59 seconds.
What time do we come?
Thank you. All right, let's roll.
Everyone, please come back. It's time to go again.
Number 8, please.
Item number 8.
Yeah.
10 a.m. timed item for possible action, discussion and deliberation on ETSU-24-16, an application for an extension of time of ZCMP-22-16. A conforming zone change to change one parcel totaling approximately 1.87 acres from open space to suburban estates to allow additional time to start construction of a single-family residence located at 581 South Shawnee Ridge Court, Pahrump, Nevada, assessor's parcel number 035-722-27, Ricardo Luis Montalvo, property owner, Edgar Montalvo, applicant agent.
Thank you, Manager. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. Steve Osborne, OSB ORNE, Assistant Planning Director. So when this property was rezoned in 2022, one of the conditions was the applicant had 1 year to start construction of a residence. They weren't able to do that. A year ago, they requested a 1-year extension, which was granted by the board, but now they're asking for another extension. This is in the Shawnee Ridge subdivision, which has, this lot was not originally designated for a residence. It was supposed to be a park or open space. So they are having issues with getting water and sewer to this lot. But I think that's the main reason for the extension.
If I could add to that.
Yes, sir.
This is in litigation. We've been in court many times. Really struggling with the utility to try to get this thing worked out. They're blaming the PUC. So unfortunately, I don't know that I can give you a timetable on when this is going to get resolved. But unfortunately, that is going to really stall any development in that. And there's a lot of people that are ready to break dirt.
Yes.
And so we are fighting hard on that. And so unfortunately, particularly for this property, it's certainly not. It's excusable that they're not able to do it just because of the legal difficulties we're having with getting everything in place to.
Chair, may I ask the DA something?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Would it be out of line to make it a 2-year instead of 1 year?
I think 1 year. I think we should have this relatively, short period of time in legal terms. But 2 years is maybe unnecessary.
Okay.
I think we're getting real close to it. And so I think 1 year would still be an appropriate amount.
Thank you.
And I don't know, thank you, Vice. I don't know if the public's aware of this or not, but dealing with the utilities, it is a long, long process. Yeah.
Well, and
also not conducive to streamlining development.
Well, and I think the other thing that people don't probably understand about this is that, I actually went through this my first term. Where we actually called the bond on
Not my idea. I took it to Wagner and said,
Yeah.
call that bond.
Yeah,
That
we-
money's hanging out there. We need it.
Yeah, so we called the bond. We have the money. We've
First time ever the county's called any bonds.
yeah, and so the money's there, and it's it's just getting everything we need done through the utility. But
Gotcha.
this is a really old problem.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, let's open it up for public, and then we'll come back to you, Steve. We got any public comment on the phone, Sam?
No, Chair.
Chair, you do have the applicant in the audience if you guys have any questions.
All right, board, do we have any let's close public. Do we have any questions for the applicant?
I don't, Chair. Thank you.
Good morning. I just want to say hello and thank you for your efforts. I know that it's a litigation. We've been fighting this for a long time. We're almost ready. So I was with Commissioner Strickland. Probably 2 years will be fine because we have to come every other year. So I don't know if you think it's gonna be 1 year is fine. We're fine. If not, we can still coming back. But we're ready. We have even the building permitting. We have we're gonna start working with the utilities trying to get all the plans ready to go. I have the structure. I have the the source report, I haven't paid for it, but we have even the building permit in place, well submitted. So it's up to you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your efforts. I know that you're working pretty hard, and I really appreciate it. I was telling Director Wagner, when we start, my kids, we're starting college. One of them is going to get graduated in May. So I really appreciate for all your efforts. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of your meeting.
Thank you very much.
Sure, I'd like to
Edgar,
make a motion.
can you spell your name real quick
Sure,
on the record?
Edgar Montalvo, Montalvo.
Thank you very much. Go
I'd
ahead,
like to ask staff a question. Steve? If we give him a year and that doesn't work out and we have to do it again, does it cost him money every time he comes back to do this?
Yes, there's an extension fee that he pays.
So if we make it 2 years, there's a better chance there's no money out of his pocket instead of making it 1 year. And if things go wrong because you know who you're dealing with. So I would suggest 2.
Thank you. Steve, how much is the extension fee, please?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I think it might be about.
Okay, Mr. DA, planning, without any water to the property, it's appropriate to extend. And the burden of the extension fee should not be placed on any of the homeowners in this development when there's no water that's being provided to anybody, right? So if without that number, it's hard to say, and I think that if we're going to make the motion, I'd like to add in that the extension fee is waived.
It's within the subject matter, so. And honestly, I don't disagree. This is completely out of anybody's control. And it doesn't seem right to me that we're penalizing somebody to have to do something that they have no control over, so.
Commissioner, wouldn't it be just as easy to make it a 2-year, since he's already paid? And if he's got his building permits in, he's got everything in. If we don't have this done in 2 years, someone needs to file a class action suit against utilities.
Well,
If this doesn't get done in 2 years, I'll be taking this to the Supreme Court.
Yes, sir.
We're not just talking about the extension fee. When you asked if this is costing Mr. Montalvo any money, every day that you don't get to build and you have everything in place, it's costing you money, a lot more money than an extension fee. So I'm inclined to say no to the 2-year because I'd like to get this moving and put a little gentle pressure on the.
So you don't want to extend his already paid for?
I do want to extend, but not for 2 years. 2 years would give the other powers to be
Okay,
to say,
well, then
2 years, we have 2 years, let's take our time.
Okay.
No, I don't want them taking their time.
Okay, then I would make a motion if I could. I'd like to motion to approve ETSU-24-16 for a 1-year extension of time.
Second. And through the chair, you do have a second through the chair?
We have a second.
And would you amend, Commissioner, as far as the waiving of the fee?
The current fee that he's already paid?
Future fee?
With the waiving of a future fee on extension only to the planning department.
Second again.
We have a motion and a second.
Thank you.
And if there's no further discussion, let's call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Chapour's aye.
Boscovich, aye. That motion carries 5-0.
Did you open public comment?
Yes, we did. Open and close like that.
Okay, I missed it.
Thank you.
All right, let's cruise on down to number 9, please. Item 9, 10 a.m. timed item for possible action, public hearing, discussion, and deliberation on A, ZCMP-24-20, an application for a master plan amendment, minor, for a 9.954 acre portion of a 17-acre portion of the 55-acre parcel to be changed from rural density residential, RDR, to rural development area, RDA, located at 600 South Leslie Street, Pahrump, Nevada, assessor's parcel number 036-171-28, American Eagle RV Resort, property owner, Double M Construction, Inc., applicant. And then B is ZCMP 24-19, an application for a conforming zone change on a 17-acre section of a 55-acre lot to change 9.54 acres from rural estates, RE1, to neighborhood commercial, to allow for a future 204-space RV park located at 600 South Leslie Street, Pahrump, Nevada, assessors parcel number 036-171-28, American Eagle RV Resort, property owner, Double M Construction, Inc., applicant.
Thank you for that, Manager. Hello.
Hello there. Kiana Medici, MEDICI, Principal Planner. The Pahrump Regional Planning Commission heard both these items at the December 11th, 2024 meeting. During the discussion of the meeting, the PRPC voted 5-0 to recommend approval of ZCMP 2420 and ZCMP 2419 to the Board of County Commissioners. The property owner requested the conforming zone change from RE1 to neighborhood commercial to allow for a future RV park, and the minor master plan amendment for a portion of the parcel to change from RDR to RDA for the same purpose. Upon review of the application, staff finds that the requested zone change and minor master plan amendment comply with the requirements of Nye County Code Title 1704, and the PRPC recommends approval of ZCMP 2420 and ZCMP 2419 to the Board of County Commissioners. Mr. Meads is also in the audience if you had any questions for the applicant.
Thank you very much, Kiana. Let's open it up for public. Do we have any public comment on the phone, Samantha?
Yes, Chair. The caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Beth Borisevich, Borysevich. What I find amazing about this is there was a whole slew of neighbors that are against this, and the RPC just kind of like ignored them. American Eagle was the original applicant on the RV park at 160 and Leslie, and now they want to go down the street and they want to put in another 200 vehicle RV resort. The original agreement for the development was signed in 2020. Oh, wait a minute, that's the wrong one. Anyway, the people were lined up not wanting this. We have dark skies rules here in town, and by putting in another RV resort in a rural area is going to impact that big time, number one. So you need to look at that and see if we're in violation of any rules or anything. And I don't think putting a 200 vehicle RV resort in the middle of an RV or in the middle of a rural area is a good idea for us. We don't want to be known as Pahrump, the RV center of the world. We have enough RV parks right now. The neighbors over there have a nice, quiet, very beautiful area. And by putting in an RV park, you're going to have diesel fumes everywhere. You're going to have noise. You're going to have lighting. You're going to have more traffic. You're going to have danger to children that might run across the road, as you know they do. So I fully oppose this and think that you should either find another place in town or just deny this. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Beth. Anybody else on the phone, Sam?
No, Chair.
Seeing and hearing no public comment, we're going to close that out. Questions from the board to Kiana or the applicant? Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Meads, please, sir.
Russ Meads, MEADS.
Thank you. As we just heard, public commenter, that people were lined up in objection to this at the planning. However, the backup and the minutes read differently, that it was 5-0 that it passed. And I find it interesting that there was no other public comment from the neighbors in this area. My main concern, that is a concern, but I'm not concerned with that at this time, as nobody has sent any communication otherwise. But my main concern is the water, as we are so concerned with Basin 162 and the water, and we have a water governing board district that meets. And have you already gone before them with this project and proposal?
Thank you for your question. So this project has not gone before the water board yet. It is a requirement for us to be able to go to the water board previous to being able to make actual application to NDEP and DWR to be able to get this project even to the point where we can come back for a conditional use permit. At that stage, that would definitely be the stage where we would need to show that we have the proper water, sewer treatment facilities, and any type of conservation that's required by that application. So at this point, we haven't got there yet. Once this is approved, we'll start that process.
Okay, well, let me ask in a different way then, if you don't mind, sir. So without going through the full process, have you already done any type of study to see what the water capacity is and how you'll move forward with that?
Yeah, good question.
If it goes forward.
Yeah, we have. So this was an existing farmed area. There were water rights that had been used for farming for many, many years. We have been working with the Department of Water Resources to be able to make sure that those water rights are correct. The good news is the water use for the RV park is much, much less, almost 30% less than what the farm was using. And so there will be a conservation factor from that exact same water that used to be pumped in that area, that it'll actually be reduced for the use for the RV park.
Right. And 30% is considerable.
Quite considerable.
And RVs use considerably, bless you.
Correct.
RVs use considerably less water consumption than an actual dwelling.
Yeah, that's correct. And then there's also the opportunity here on this project that the sewer treatment will be able to use rapid infiltration basins, so it'll be able to recharge as well. So there'll be some capture from that as well.
Okay, thank you. I have a connection calculation, but the explanation of the water rights in the farm and what their consumption was, and we all know what farms did in the day, right? To help prove up is it was actually wasteful, where this would be very, very monitored, measured, and controlled.
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, I guess I want to say something. I don't know where all the neighbors went. But
Were you at that meeting, Commissioner?
yes, I was at the meeting.
Can you give us some insight, please?
I'm going to, actually, and the insight I'm going to give you comes from the backup, because I like giving it back to the people who wrote it, okay? Most of this was written about the master plan agreement being changed, and that's not up to us because it was done there and it doesn't come to us. But it affects what we're doing with the zoning changes. The first one is that it would be conforming and similar to the other parcels in the area. Well, the other parcels are RE1, so it's not similar at all. Having a RE1, a house on 1 acre compared to 200 RVs are not, in my mind, similar. Okay? It's surrounded by RE1 zone property on all sides. Is this appropriate or compatible? And then it leaves the remaining portion of the 17 acres zoned general commercial, and approximately 38 acres would remain RE1 and GC. This poor parcel is becoming, it's got one identifying number, and it's got, I don't know how many different zoning categories on it, so it's very difficult to figure it out. Again, the wastewater site will be on there, and it's my understanding that it'll be located right in the corner, right next to somebody's house. Hopefully there'll be a fence around that. The master plan amendment would not promote the adopted policies. Instead, it actually highlights the issues currently facing many parcels in the Pahrump Regional Planning District. We should also look at the impact this can have on the homeowners in the area. There are homes all around this 55-acre lot. These homes are built long before the subject property's master plan designation was changed. I mean, this goes back years that they rezoned it, zoned it, tried to start something, failed, and here we are again. And personally, I don't believe that this project as laid out is ever going to come to fruition. I believe there's other things in the plans that they have for this that we're not seeing. The change would only benefit the owner, as they need the lower 9.954 acre section changed to allow for an RV park. It's certainly not going to make the rest of the neighborhood any better. A nuisance is based on the principle that no one has the right to use property in a manner such as to injure a neighbor or the community. The neighbors that were here seem to think that it was going to affect them. I've heard all of the arguments, now I'm taking the other side a little bit, about what an RV park does with generators running 24 hours a day, a lot of diesel fumes. These things come in, they sit there for days or weeks and months. They never start them up. None of this happens. They plug into electric. They don't run a generator. So all of that is I guess that's about all I have for it. And I don't, sorry, Russ, but I can't back this.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Strickland or DeBoer or
yes, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. I respect your opinion and the backstory, and it's in the minutes, etc. Were you at this meeting at planning?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Were you a planner at the time, or?
No, I was sitting out there with the neighbors.
Oh, so you weren't one of the commissioners at the time that voted the 5-0?
No.
That's why I'm so confused. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I was in the audience.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
These RV parks also are, excuse me, very upscale RV parks. I don't know if you've been out and drove through Treasures, but good grief. And these are $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 vehicles, some of them.
And surprisingly quiet and good neighbors. And so I'm surprised. I mean, maybe the neighborhood doesn't realize how this could benefit them. Is this a conforming zone change, planner? Yes.
She nodded.
It is now. I don't know what that comment means, sir.
It means they changed the master plan, so now it's conforming. Before, it would have been non-conforming.
We're talking about what year was the master plan? I may need you, Kiana. Miss Medici. No, there's none. We've never made any mistakes. Our master plan has no mistakes in it. Are you kidding? Yeah.
So, the master plan was designated to, okay, so in 22, there was a major master plan amendment from RDR to CDA. And then they also did a zone change then. with a split zoning of general commercial and RE1.
Right.
That was for an RV park, Alzheimer's facility, casino, gas station, retail. They had much bigger plans at that point. Prior to that, in 14, there was a non-conforming zone change application to change approximately 32 acres of the 55-acre parcel from RE1 to general commercial, and a request for a major master plan from mixed use and low density to the CDA designation. Before that, it was 2007.
Yeah.
And it was still the 32 acres from low density residential to general commercial at that point.
I guess my point of why I'm asking this is because we're up against this often as commissioners. Our regional planning commission knows the rules. This is an allowable use. And they bring it to us based on what they've been, the dictum that we've said to them. You need to make sure that everything happens within this master plan as stated. And people have their homes around areas that are, if there's a large parcel right next to your property and you think you can control it when it already has a master plan destination and a zoning change, it can't. And so if you want to control something like that, you probably need to live somewhere where those controls are already in place, where you're going to have an HOA, et cetera, et cetera. That's not who this town is. We need to, this is an excellent use of this land, in my opinion. And so when the chair is ready.
The chair is ready if there's no other comments from.
See what happens.
Let's do it.
All right, I would like to move to recommend an approval to the BOC of NCMP-2420 and 19, based upon the findings outlined within the staff report and subject to the conditions stipulated in this report.
I have a motion on the floor.
Jabor, second.
I have a motion on the floor and a second. If there's no further discussion, let's call for the vote.
Aye.
Nay.
Where's aye?
Boscovich, aye.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-1. All right.
Respectfully, thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, guys, also. Let's do... Chair, I just want to confirm that that motion and vote covered A and B.
It did.
Okay.
It did, sir. I said 19 and 20. Thank you.
You know, just a little comment. One problem with that whole thing is that's strictly a zone change. It doesn't give them permission to do.
Absolutely. They
an
still have to
RV
come
park.
before us.
Right, it's got to
again
come
and
back.
again. Yes, you're right. And within that, sir, if I may, there could be stipulations that this RV park will only have RVs that are of a certain age. There's all kinds of things you can do to make sure it stays very nice.
All right, Commissioners, let's close that out and move on to number 10, please. Item 10, 10 a.m. timed item for possible action. Public hearing, discussion, and deliberation on ZCMP-24-21, an application for a conforming zone change from light industrial to heavy industrial for a propane distribution business on a 2.6 acre parcel with a master plan designation of business industrial area located at 2090 East Basin Avenue, Pahrump, Nevada. Assessors parcel number 035-268-12. Sand Harbor Holdings, LLC, property owners, Cosrow Allegici? Applicant agent. All right, Kiana, go ahead.
Kiana Medici, MEDICI, Principal Planner. The Pahrump Regional Planning Commission heard this item at the December 11th, 2024 meeting. During the discussion of the meeting, the PRPC voted 5-0 to recommend approval to the Board of County Commissioners. The property owner requested the conforming zone change from light industrial to heavy industrial to allow for a propane distribution facility on the parcel. CU 2448 was conditionally approved during the December 11th RPC meeting with the understanding that the action is not final until the zone change has been approved. The PRPC recommends approval of ZCMP 2421 to the Board of County Commissioners, and our applicant is in the audience if you have any questions.
Thank you, Kiana. Let's open it up to public first. Sam, do you see anyone?
Yes, Chair, the caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Beth Borisevich, Borysevich. Actually, I think this is really a good item for our town. There's been a lot of talk on social media about people ending up with empty propane tanks because they don't have any delivery because the company that was here was sold. This would be an excellent item for our town, easier access for propane. I'm all for this. Thanks.
Thank you. Sam, you got anyone?
No, Chair.
All right, we're going to close public comment. Board, do you have any
I have nothing but a motion, sir.
questions? Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Ms. Kiana, please. Thank you. So as in the last item, we heard about public comment at the commission meeting, at the planning commission. Was there any objection to this? And looking at the, thank you, no. And thank you, looking at the aerial map, I think the neighbors are almost a block away, or streets even just a block away from the proposed project.
That's correct.
So we talk about noise, we talk about odor, you know, et cetera, and that's one of the factors of your industry, if this is the gentleman that's putting the project together. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a concern, and anybody that wants to build, if this moves forward, anybody that wants to build in the future needs to be well aware that that's where they're moving to, is right next to an industrial project and business. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Can we get a motion?
Absolutely. I'd like to make a motion to approve the conforming zone change ZCMP-24-21 based on the RPC and staff recommendations and findings and subject to conditions of approval as outlined below in the standard and special conditions of approval. May I get a second? And may I ask the applicant if they agree with the special conditions of approval on the record, and spell your name for the record? That's the one thing I failed to do.
Yeah, I forgot.
Sorry about that. Got to go through the process. My name is Bill Platts. I'm the president of Delta Liquid Energy, the applicant. Sand Harbor.
Spell the last name.
Platz. Sand Harbor Holdings is just the holding company that we use for our real estate holdings. We do, in fact, accept the conditions of approval for this
Perfect. Thank you. We have a motion on the floor in a second. If there's nothing else, let's call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Chapero's aye.
Boscovich, aye. That motion, did you vote?
Yes.
That motion carries 5-0. Number 11, please. All right. Item 11, 10 a.m. timed item for possible action, discussion and deliberation to A, declare 481 East Stoneham Street, Pahrump, Nevada, a public nuisance consisting of an unsafe, unhealthful building which poses a public health and safety hazard. B, if declared a public nuisance, establish a reasonable time for Laura Figuera, who is the property owner, to repair, abate, or remove the public nuisance. C, if the public nuisance is not abated within the time period designated, direct staff to utilize the abatement procedures to abate the hazard by removing or causing the removal of the hazardous conditions. And D, apply a special assessment against the real property in the amount of the total cost of the abatement. Assessor's parcel number 043-672-05. Location is 4841 East Stoneham Street, Pahrump, Nevada. Property owners, Laura Figuera. Thank you for that. Hello, Susan.
Hello, Susan Ryhall,
Ryhal. So this property suffered a structure fire in May of 2024. It has sat in the condition it's in today for most of 2024. A code compliance complaint was filed by a citizen on October 30th of 24. I have not been able to contact an owner. I did get information from the previous owner, who happens to be the loan holder for the current owner. That the current owner is living somewhere in Oregon. So I've had no contact with them. The previous owner, who said that they were carrying the loan for the current owner, didn't want anything to do with it. And apparently there was no insurance on the house either.
Oh, Jiminy.
Oh.
So we actually have a first note and deed of trust by a lender, and the lender wants nothing to do with it. The current owner is not responding.
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let's do public comment on this. Sam, do you have anyone?
Before we do that.
Yes, sir.
This is really a hearing.
Oh, public.
This is a nuisance hearing. There should have been a script.
Mm.
Oh, okay. No, we don't need to continue the hearing. If I could, maybe, if we could just get confirmation that the exhibits that are attached to the agenda item were accurate.
Yes.
Right. And which detail notice was properly posted on the property and mailed to the owner.
Correct. Yes, a condemnation order was posted.
It's not a hearing.
A
Just doesn't even...
notice to abate was posted and mailed. All those were mailed. And also, ultimately, a notice of the hearing was posted and mailed.
And I think the pictures themselves speak volumes to what you need to find for a nuisance.
So just...
It's a lot better if you go out and actually look at it.
Yeah.
Pictures don't do it justice.
And it is completely unsecured. I did ask the loan holder, the previous owner, if he was interested in trying to secure the property to at least make it safe, and he said he didn't have the ability to do that.
Just so the record is clear that the applicant or the homeowner is not present today. For the record.
It's perfectly clear, DA.
And the fact that it does not say hearing.
It doesn't say hearing in this,
11,
in our,
is that okay?
do we need to walk this back? Do we?
No, it's just that with the nuisance, you do have to go through the process of giving the applicant or the homeowner
Notice.
opportunity to respond and so it's.
If you're good moving
forward. No, we're good. We're good with it.
Hey, you're our legal counsel.
Yes,
We're going.
Yeah, no. And again, the biggest issue here is that, they were noted, all the postings were, in my review of this, the postings that were required by law were posted. So it is appropriate for you to move forward with declaring this a nuisance.
Perfect, thank you. Did we already do public?
We have not, sir.
Let's do public comment. See if we have any on the phone or...
Yes, Chair, the caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Hello, Commissioners. Michael David Garcia, Garcia. I just wanted to make a quick note. The whole notice thing, everybody here in Pahrump knows the 41 zip code. It's a P.O. box. That's the way they side skirt notice. Just because you mail something to an address doesn't mean that you can say that you disclose notice. That's the problem. That's how half the warrants are issued in these courtrooms. This guy's been malpracticing since 2015 with Vito, rewriting these policies. I've got him actually back to 2013. I came across something with Coonsey and Vito working together.
Oh, okay.
This is what I've been going through since 2019. It's all due process, sir. This does have to do with it. It's when you're violating due process in the original jurisdiction, there's a big ass problem when you're self-insured. Did those tarps look beautiful right next to your building? How long did y'all have those up? You're self-insured. Why wasn't that condemned? What do y'all talk?
Oh.
Good luck, man.
You're cutting in and out, Mr. Garcia.
Thank you. Anybody else on the phone, Sam?
No, Chair.
If I could comment very quickly.
Yes, please.
Right. The code requires either mailing the notice or posting the notice on the building. Everything has been done in accordance with the code. There is no deficiency with regards to how this was noticed.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Okay, we have a public commenter. In Pahrump. Nope, push the button, please.
Make it green.
And then spell your last name for us.
My name is Millicent Kaiser, Kiser, no A. I live 4 doors down from that particular piece of property, and it is not only an eyesore, but it is very dangerous. There's no fencing around it. Anyone can just walk in at any point they want to, and the pictures don't show the true destruction of it all the way through. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Sam, nobody else on the phone?
Yeah, just,
All right, we're going to close public comment. Board,
I just like to comment on, sort of on her comments also. When I was there, I mean, the whole front was open, and you could walk inside that building, through the doorway, into the back where the roof is probably ready to fall down because it's burnt through. So it's definitely a hazard.
And that's my concern, Commissioner, safety. And so we have been tasked with coming up with a reasonable time for the homeowner to take care of this. What is a reasonable time in this case when the homeowner is not responding? When we have homeowners in front of us, we give them 6 months. We can't do this. This is a safety issue. At the very least, this county needs to secure it by fencing it and hire a contractor to do so. And that needs to happen immediately. And so that's my concern about reasonable time, and I'd like somebody to tell me what that looks like, please.
Well, the interesting definition of reasonable is under the circumstances. And I don't disagree that I think your first concern needs to be to make sure that it's, the community around it is protected.
Children,
It should
even
be,
animals, you know,
it should
someone
be
leaves their
fenced,
animal and they're gonna go in there and look and whatever.
should be fenced today.
That would be part of a motion.
Where we're at is the reasonable time. What is reasonable in this circumstance when safety is of such a concern?
I would say fence now and 30 days or 60 days. But that's my thought.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start an motion if you
I don't know
like.
how much time it takes us to go out and find people that's gonna knock this thing down and take it all away, but whatever that time is, that should be the time limit.
Well, the notice is to order them to abate the nuisance within that
Themselves.
time period. If they don't abate the nuisance within that time period, then the county can step in and do the work. And then any costs involved with that then becomes basically a lien on the property.
Now we get it.
Okay, so I believe, Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, please go ahead, Vice Chair.
I'd like to make a motion to declare 4841 East Stoneham Street, Pahrump, Nevada, a public nuisance, that it is unsafe. It is also a safety hazard. I would like to establish a reasonable time in that the homeowner will have 30 days to declare she is going to abate or repair.
If I could actually order the actual abatement. It's not the time, it needs to be abated within 30 days.
I will, Kelly, stick with me. All right, then on B, I'd like to restate that a reasonable time of 30 days for the abatement process to begin. In the meantime, the county shall fence the property and take action, which I will discuss here in a moment. Directing staff to utilize the abatement procedure to abate the hazard by putting up the fence immediately. And apply a special assessment against the real property for the fence at this time. And potentially in the future, the total cost of abatement to this property.
Can I offer a friendly
course.
amendment?
Yes.
You said to begin the abatement.
Yeah.
My suggestion is the abatement be completed within 30 days. It is not unreasonable for them to hire somebody to go in and demolish the facility. It should not take 30 days. So I think that would be more appropriate.
I will so amend to completed within 30 days.
Jaboris seconds.
All right, we have a long motion and a second.
Kelly, are you good? That's all I want to know. In Tonopah.
There is nothing. Hold on, Manager. Buck.
I'm here with Charlie, helping him along, and we're good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you.
Hello up there.
One thing that just occurred to me, though,
Yes.
should we have to go in and put a fence in, is where does it get paid from? Because code compliance does not have a budget set aside.
You can take it
for
out of
these
my budget.
payments. Take it out of yours?
Yes. Out of the county commissioner's budget, so we can have immediate action.
Where does the money come from to
In the
knock
long
it all
term.
down? Because she's not going to do it. I
Well,
can
it's
guarantee
the
that.
same thing. It would come from somewhere and then
Where
get
would the
assessed,
somewhere be?
but I'm just
Under
bringing
normal
up something we might want to start clarifying in the
Well, let's
future
add
is
that.
how we're gonna
You know what? You're right. We should add that as part of our item to be paid for by comptroller. Do you have anything to add to us, please?
Or money laying around somewhere?
Where have we done it in the past? This is
Where
not the
did
first
we get the
one.
money to do the last one, right?
Yeah.
What did it come out of? Can we use impact fees?
I don't have an answer. I just know that we just started creating a project string to track abatement costs closely. But like I said, we just started that. So I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for you as far as sourcing.
I get you.
It's not, it wasn't necessarily a suggestion of something that needs to be solved today, but
Right.
it's something we might want to look at addressing as part of these items in the future.
Funding source
And
for
code compliance or planning can work with comptroller to try to figure that information out. So when these are presented, we know if and should we have to go in.
And we do right
this,
now. Yeah.
And we have, at
Funds.
least a way to borrow the funds until we can
Right.
recoup them through the assessment.
All right, thank you for that. Does anybody else have anything on this one? We have a motion and a second, I believe, yes. Let's call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Jaboris, aye.
Boscovich, aye. That carries 5-0.
Before you close,
Yes, sir.
Chair,
Sir.
before you close this item, and I know the DA will say, yes, bring it back at the end, but with the county manager and the assistant director and our code enforcement, and thank you, by the way, for doing what you do. This is not the first hearing and the first nuisance complaint. However, what I did notice is I noticed code enforcement now wearing badges. And this was brought before the commission over a year ago, and those were denied. So I will address that at the end of the meeting to find out how that came about when the county commission denied badges for code enforcement through planning. You, county manager, you actually were on vacation, and the assistant director, Steve, was before us making the presentation. There will be direction later.
I'm going to make a suggestion. I know what you're referring to, and that was actually a position justification through a budget meeting that included uniforms and badges and that.
Correct.
There has not been an item before the board just specific to badges.
It was for the supervisory position, including badges for code enforcement, plural.
As a budget item.
Yes, it was denied.
Yeah, but that.
We'll have to
Okay,
pull that.
thank you.
We could certainly have a direction of staff
Thank you.
again, right, Chair?
Yes, absolutely. Where were we?
Let's go to 12. Give it to him.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on, close that out and go to 12. Welcome, Sheriff.
And opening the Nye County Licensing and Liquor Board, manager number 12.
Item number 12, 10 a.m. item for possible action Hearing to show cause, discussion, and deliberation to consider reinstatement, continued suspension, or revocation of a retail liquor license for Sanders Winery located at 3780 East Kellogg Road, Pahrump, Nevada, pursuant to Nye County Codes 5.04.280 and 5.04.290B for violation of Nevada Revised Statute 369.487 or 597.260 or 205.210 or 205.380, Jack Sanders, licensee.
Thank you. This is a hearing to show cause to determine if the retail liquor license for Sanders Family Winery, located at 3780 East Kellogg Road, Pahrump, Nevada, should be revoked pursuant to Nye County Code 5.04.290B regarding the operation of a liquor business in violation of a state, county, or federal provision. Would Mr. Sanders, do you have representation, or are you here on your own?
I'm on my own.
Okay, if you would give your name and spell your last name, please.
My name is Jack W. Sanders, Sanders.
And you are the licensee, correct?
I am the licensee. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a copy of the notice of hearing that can be found on page 3 of the materials posted in the backup. For the agenda item, the date of the notice is January 13th. Code provision provides that notice of this hearing must be posted no sooner than 10 days before the date of the hearing. We cannot proceed with the hearing unless you consent to waive this date. Do you wish to waive the deficiency in the notice?
I didn't realize there was one, and I would waive it.
Thank you. Do you believe that you're prepared to move forward on the hearing?
I don't know how much more prepared I could be.
Okay. Did you receive the notice?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Lieutenant Williams, representative of the Nye County Sheriff's Office, if you could give your presentation, state your name and spell your last name, please.
My name is Harry Williams, last name Williams, Lieutenant with the Sheriff's Office.
Yeah. Do we need to swear him?
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Have you reviewed the backup documentation submitted for the item?
Yes.
And is this a true and accurate copy of the reports and information that you prepared for this item?
Yes.
Is there any objection by the board considering the documentation?
No,
This would be for Mr. Sanders, whether or not he has any objections to considering the documentation.
We need to swear him in too, Sheriff.
Yep. Mr. Sanders, if you would come back to the podium, please.
Mr. Sanders, can you raise your right hand?
Yes,
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And do you have any objection to the documentation?
I have none.
Thank you. Lieutenant Williams, can you summarize the investigation?
Yes, on November 20th, 2024, an anonymous tip came in with photographs revealing that Sanders Family Winery was engaging in deceptive practices by pouring Francia wine into their own bottles and labeling it as their own product. This prompted the investigation for the fraudulent activities. The inspection resulted on November 27, 2024. Myself and a couple other detectives went to the address of 3780 East Kellogg Road. During the inspection, we discovered several boxes of Francia wine in the dumpster. The plastic containers inside the boxes were cut open and emptied into some kind of container. These photographs were taken and documentation of the dumpster and the empty Franzia boxes were taken. Photographs were taken along as the warehouse. We found filled and unlabeled wine bottles, some of which were still in the process of being labeled. On December 5th, 2024, we interviewed Jack Sanders, the owner of Sanders Family Winery. During the interview, Mr. Sanders admitted that he had been purchasing Franzia wine from local stores in Pahrump and Las Vegas for the past 3 years. He would repackage these wines in bottles labeled by Sanders Family Winery, claiming he added preservatives and sulfites and preserving them in nitrogen. He cited long-standing issues with obtaining water rights as the reason for the practice, claiming he was unable to produce his own wine because of these issues. That's pretty much in a summary.
Thank you. And are you aware well, I guess I'll turn it to the board if there are any questions.
I have no questions, Chair.
I do not have any as well.
And Lieutenant Williams, are you aware of a county ordinance prohibiting the purchasing of liquor by a liquor licensee from a non-bonded or non-contracted business?
I got an NRS 369487, violating this statute by purchasing liquor from non-licensed wholesalers.
Thank you. Mr. Sanders, do you have any questions for Lieutenant Williams? Okay. Okay, Mr. Sanders, do you have anything that you would like to present to the board to make their determination?
Yes, I do. I stated the last time we met here that that the mistake was mine. I appreciate the Nye County Commission, and I appreciate the Sheriff's Department. They were very kind, very resourceful, and I followed all the instructions to comply with the original order issued on December 9th. And follow-up report that was issued to me when Lieutenant Williams and his partner personally delivered the notice to me. I was asked if I were using a lawyer. I told him no. I'm the one that needs to get this corrected because I'm accountability for that. About 2 days after that, I received our December 9th suspension from our liquor license. A deputy later, that was on the 9th of December, questioning why we were opening. And that was delivered by, it wasn't delivered, it was just an alert for a sheriff to come. I'm not sure who he was. He said we were supposed to be closed. I pointed out that we're not selling alcohol. We are and have been in compliance with suspension and will continue to do so. His body camera was on as he walked around. I'd mentioned this to Lieutenant Williams when they delivered the notice to me. I also asked Lieutenant Williams, I said, this is the first time that I've ever gone through anything like this. And I basically just asked him a question. He asked me if I had a lawyer. I said, no, I don't have a lawyer. I agree with everything that you talked about, what's happened here. But there are some circumstances as a result of that. And if you have questions about that, I would be very happy to answer that. Again, I apologize to you. I apologize to our industry. And I apologize to our citizens. I have other comments if you'd like to hear them, but that would be up to you.
This is your time.
This is my time. Okay. we've had difficulties with water rights for many years. When we purchased the property and built the property, we did purchase additional water rights because even before we built the building, we took care of all the electrical, took care of all the construction things that needed to be done, and we built a small cottage on the thing, which became our construction office. We did purchase 3 acre-feet of water at that particular time. I had never owned water rights prior to that. When I owned Pahrump Valley Winery, it was under Public Utility Company. They provided the services. I did have to exchange water rights for them to be able to give us services, I guess, as a trade out one way or the other. They also contracted with me to be able to supply water with one rate to the vineyards and another rate to the source of revenue, which was the main winery and its operation, as well as the restaurant and everything of that nature. Those water rights that I purchased for the Kellogg Company, I didn't realize 100% that of any notifications, renewals, or anything from that. And I've suddenly got a notice about 3 years later that those water rights, that they had tried to contact me, I don't recall receiving any information, that they had not been renewed and therefore they were going to be taken away. There was a deadline date on that, and I apparently was past that date. So I learned a very good lesson from that, and that is they did get the water rights. That was a lot of cash that went in a direction that I had taken out, and it also set us back to day number 1. That was 3 years after I purchased the property, and we were in operation. The vineyards were in operation at that time. They were growing, and they flourished and got up to the building area of approximately, I think we were doing around 7 to 8 tons of grapes in each side of the vineyards. We were producing Zinfandel as well as Petit Syrah. They were beautiful wines, they just worked very nicely. During that time, those grapes were producing. We were harvesting, and we were making wine. During that same time is when those water rights were taken away from us. We then purchased additional water rights and put those in operation, but it took a little bit of time for those to transfer and to be taken care of. So in the meantime, we had to support with the Agriculture Department and the Division of Water Resources. We had to actually put in a plan of action as to what we were going to do to conserve water. At the same time, I believe our valley was being readjusted, et cetera, for water, and I think water rights all of a sudden started to go crazy again. So what we did was the 3 acres we found were insufficient to do what we had done. We had replaced those 3 acre feet. So we had actually had to do a report. So we had to cut back and conserve. As we cut back and conserve until those water rights and irrigation were all taken care of, we had those other water rights. Unfortunately, during that period of time, we were not able to get sufficient water. So we also presented another plan that what we would do is we'd reconstruct the winery, reconstruct the vineyards. And the reason we would do that is we would replant the vines in different formation. When we put the original vines in, we planted them on 6-foot rows apart and 5 feet between each one of the vineyards and each one of the grapevines. The production we were getting, as I told you before, was really well producing. But we also thought, and with the help of some of the university people, UNLV and UNR, and their advice and our conferencing, I made some decisions that when we planted the new vineyards, which we have not done yet, because this all is just coming to, is the point. We've revamped the vineyards, pulled all of the vines out, and we did that a year and a half to 2 years ago. So there's been no vines in there. There is still some rootstock that we're using for experimentation. We decided that what we would do is, as the vines come up and grow, we trellis them out on what's called cordones to the next stake, or to halfway through the next stake. That would be 2.5 feet, 2.5 feet. The stakes are 5 feet apart. So the next vine, those two vines that were next to each other, they would come in, and you cannot grow more because they will begin to fight themselves. So we decided what we would do is we would plant on 10-foot centers, and then we decided we would put some in 10-foot centers and 15-foot centers. That is ready to go and ready to operate. So we've had no production since the very first productions that we did, and that would have been a few years ago. We
Chair?
watched what we were doing.
I hate to interrupt. Sorry.
Oh, wrong chair.
And you're right there, and I'm looking right at you.
You were staring.
Chair, I'm sorry, but I did not see where this train was running, and I have not made a disclosure about water rights. I do broker water rights, but I have no pecuniary interest in these water rights that are under discussion. I just need to make you aware of that, sir, and the public. And so the story is the story, and so I'm sorry, but I didn't know that we were going to talk about water rights when we got into this item. Thank you. It's not, thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Is there a problem?
No, sir. I'm just curious. May I, Chair?
Absolutely.
I'm just curious. You're giving a lot of information about the why you and how you got to this place. And as the board, we can appreciate that, Mr. Sanders, and we have a very long friendship, sir, and I'm sorry
Yes,
you're
I
in
know.
this position.
I know we have.
But
So,
these
anyway,
matters aren't relevant to where we're sitting, sir.
Yeah, I think that we need to try to get away from the why is this happening and go to what is happening.
okay. Very good. Yeah, then basically we'll just leave it with what the lieutenant has discovered, that we have utilized the process, and that it was not permit applicable. That's my responsibility and my accountability. I wasn't aware of all of that, but I am now, and I'm asking that if we can get an opportunity to correct those things, we can start that pretty quickly. I've already started it already. We do have the new vines would go, well, it depends now as to what happens, whether the new vines will be planted or not. We're ready to do that, and we just finished that up for cleanup. That's the reason I brought the vineyards in. That puts us back in, because in 2025, on July 1st, the new systems kick in for wineries. We started the very first winery in the state of Nevada, first commercial winery, excluding the Buell winery back in right after Prohibition, which operated on the ranch here down the center of town. That was back in right after Prohibition. So we wrote the legislation to operate a winery, and we were helpful to help other people start wineries within the state of Nevada. Right now, we are ready to plant. We're going to have to hold up until you can make a decision as to what we can do to get this resolved. So I guess the important thing is I made some mistakes. I do have one correction for Lieutenant, and that is that when we utilize other products, other wines, whether they are bond to bond or, in my particular case, where we have used other wines that are now we should not have done. We do make adjustments and blending, so those wines are not all the same as to when they came out of those packages. Just like any other transfers or anything that we would do, we can add or subtract. So we did that, and we do not put nitrogen in. We don't put sulfite in the wines. We have to label on the wines contains sulfites. The reason we have to put that on the label is because most everything that you taste and you eat, there's more sulfites in a banana than there is in a whole gallon of wine. But it has to be on there because it's the law, it's the federal law, the labeling laws. So the nitrates are the sulfites are not in there. We do put nitrate gas in the bottles as we do it, as we sanitize each bottle on the production line. We integrate that so that it takes all of the oxygen out, so that when it hits the spouts for filling, no oxygen is contained in those wines. And when they come out, they're immediately corked, foiled, and closed off. So from a safety standpoint, we still followed all those things. I apologize. I just have not been really feeling too good about myself these days. I have no other comments. If you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Mr. Sanders, I do have some questions, sir. And I too have a very brief disclosure, and you probably don't remember me. A few years ago, through the state tourism,
Yes.
I gave you an award.
Yes, I've received many, many awards from the
Yes,
state of
sir,
Nevada.
you have, because you've done some great things for tourism through the state of Nevada and in the industry. And I certainly apologize for the situation that we are here now and why we are here. But I thank you for all of the good things that you've done in the past and for the industry and for the people.
Thank you.
Sir, do you have a distribution license?
A distribution license?
Yes, sir.
No.
No, thank you. Do you have a winemaker's license?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you have a retail license?
At the moment?
Did you have a retail license?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have and do you have a wholesale license?
No.
No. Okay, so you had the liquor, the retail liquor and the winemaker's license, and you didn't have a distribution license.
That's correct.
And so in the state of Nevada, sir, as you know, there are tiers.
Yes, I do.
There are tiers, and the reason there are tiers is for why we are here right now.
Yes, and Commissioner, in my office, there is an oil painting of the three-tier system as to what the responsibilities are as a constant reminder.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So the reason I bring that up is from the lieutenant's investigation and you admitting to the mistakes, et cetera, how was it that the bottles of wine that you were able to put together were actually sold without having the distribution license and having them brought back to your property after being properly skewed by the state?
I don't know about that, because basically we purchased those at retail, and we did make the changes. We did do the production. It did come from the winery with all the proper procedures with that. Now, I cannot sell directly to Any wines that are produced, I cannot sell directly to, well, I can sell it to customers. It was vinted and bottled by us, and it says that on the label. But I know exactly what you're saying. The three-tier system says that the producer must sell to a distributor.
Yes.
The distributor must sell to a retailer. The retailer must sell to the consumer.
To the consumer.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
But there was a step missed. You did buy from Franzia. You did buy the Franzia from a retail outlet.
Which was distributed by Southern Wine and Spirits.
Correct.
To a retailer. There's nothing that prevents me from buying anything from a retailer. My mistake was it was not 100% my product.
Correct.
I disagree with that because the NRS, the NCC says that you have to buy from a wholesaler. You can't buy from a retailer. Any liquor license holder can't go and
That's correct.
buy. They
No,
have to buy from a wholesaler.
That's exactly
Licensed
accurate.
wholesaler. So
Yeah.
the process of buying the wine, had it been bought from a wholesaler, I don't know how that would have all spelled out, but it wasn't. It was bought from a retailer.
That's correct.
That
That's
is
just outside of code.
that is one of the violations that are being alleged.
Right. So I want to make sure we're clear about that.
Thank you.
Well, that's clear.
So, Chair, I have almost one last question, if you don't mind. And Mr.
Almost one
Sanders, almost, yes, I think, because something always comes up. So, Mr. Sanders, if regardless of the outcome and before the outcome, what would you like to see today?
Well, I would like to see us get back to normal. We've been in 100% compliance since the notification. We have not, I don't believe that we in any way, shape, or form we violated that. I don't know that we violated any other laws. We've been in business here since 1985. And again, to the best of my knowledge, I don't recall ever being at a hearing like this before. Anything that we've done wrong.
Bless you. Well, you've never been at this type of a hearing, sir, because you didn't violate any of the NRSs or any of the county ordinances or the liquor laws until now.
That's correct.
Yes. So how are you going to make up these, as you've admittedly stated multiple times, that you've made mistakes and you take accountability for those mistakes? How are you going to make up for those mistakes, especially with the consumers?
Well, with the consumers, I'm not certain how we can do that. I'm not certain how we can do that.
Do you have a plan? Do you have an idea?
We have had any cancellations or anything of that nature. We have made refunds already for once the product was delivered. Now that last product was delivered was the day we got the notice. So nothing has gone beyond our doors since that particular time. I would imagine, I haven't heard from many people. I have had no complaints about this at all from anyone at all. And we're still answering the phones and we're still communicating with people. We do shipping. We ship to certain states. Occasionally we have problems with FedEx. Sometimes they don't get it delivered correctly. And therefore we have always, in that case, refunded. If it's returned to us, we will refund that for them.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, I just have a comment.
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Sanders, I appreciate you being here.
my problem with this and where my real rub is that you basically, well, you didn't basically, you completely lied to the people of our community, pretty much, and provided them a product that they thought they were getting and buying and consuming that they weren't. They were getting something different. I have been one of them because I know you, I knew Betsy, and I've been out there many times. But this is, I don't even know how you would ever make this right with the people of our community where we've all been a long time. So that's my comment.
Thank you.
Chair, my big rub, as you say, is this went on for 3 years. This wasn't just a small mistake. This was an ongoing commitment to produce something that and label something. And you touched it, you did it repetitively. And so to have that, I'm sorry, but to have that painting on the wall that even describes what you're supposed to be doing, it's sad you would state that. I am solely disappointed, sir. Thank you.
And it is a very, very sad, this is just
The worst thing ever.
terribly sad thing, but we did not put us here.
No, we're by the people.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Through the chair, thank you. Mr. Sanders, as I said, and I apologize to the people and to the commission, as I said, I'm almost finished, right? Something always comes up. Sir, has the state been involved at this point?
No.
Department of Taxation?
Well, I'm always involved with the Department of Taxation.
ATF?
ATF?
They've been involved?
No.
So it's just this commission so far?
Yes.
Are they aware of what's happened?
I don't know.
Okay.
If I may, I can
Where's the chair?
partially answer that.
Yes, sir.
We have been in contact with the state over this.
So we could be kind if we wanted to
There,
the.
yes,
we
there
could
will.
to this
That's where I'm
licensing.
leading,
Yes. Yes, thank you.
Commissioner, is that once the state ATF jumps in, there will probably be heavy fines. But the state license, yes, I think would supersede our county ordinances and county licensing.
So I have a couple of questions. Mr. Sanders, you, in your statement, you said that you wrote legislation on this industry?
Yes, we, when we started the first winery, we actually started the winery because there were no rules or regulations about wineries in the state of Nevada. All of the other states, so we hired a guy by the name of Frank Dakin, who I think was a legislative lawyer, and asked him if he could rewrite the original, the liquor license and add wineries to that. At this particular time, to the best of my knowledge, there were no alcohol producers in the entire state of Nevada. We did get our BATF license immediately because there was no objection from the state because they had no jurisdiction over that. The rules were that you can't stop, you can't make alcohol because there's no licenses for anybody to make alcohol in the state of Nevada. And so we worked with the Attorney General, and they were very helpful to us because the legislature only works every 4 months, every other year, and it was an off year in 1990 because it's the odd years they do it. So in 1991, we had Frank Dakin write a proposal to make a couple of changes in the legislature that would allow wineries to operate. There were no requirements for any locals or anything of that. There was no such thing as a winemaker's license. So at the same time, Nevada winemaker's license. So at the same time, we had them put that in and put the fees as to what that license would be on an annual basis.
Okay, so if I'm correct, you wrote the book on this.
Well, no, I didn't write it. It was so easy for them to change words and put it around. We did get our assemblywoman at that particular time to do a presentation to the assembly. They did that, and that was in 1991. I think it was in March or April or something at that time. It was unanimously passed. Everybody supported the thing, and it was then went on to the Senate, and the entire Senate approved the thing. So that was, very few words were changed to make it work, and the license fees were there.
But you were instrumental in the creation of state legislation and licensing for your industry?
Yes.
Okay. And that was in 1991-ish?
Well, I think we started the process in 1990.
Okay.
To get all the information and get all the nits and grits worked out of it. But by 1991. Now, we were licensed by the BATF in 1988. So that's when we found that we can start construction on the thing. Construction was very easy at that time in Pahrump.
Chair?
Okay.
So,
I'd like to ask if we can move forward with some public comment, please.
I have one more question, if I may.
Thank you. Please.
Well, actually, a two-part question. Mr. Sanders, do you know offhand approximately what you would pay for the Franzia wine?
yes. I don't know approximately. I know exactly.
Okay.
Yes. They would fluctuate. They would fluctuate depending on what the prices were at the
An average.
Yeah. So the average for the low price wines, our cost on those equaled about, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of, for each bottle, around, I think it's around $3.80. $3.80 for 700 for the liter bottles. Then of course we had to add the bottles, labor, all of the other stuff that we needed to do. So I think it was somewhere around $4.50, which is normal for that, and therefore the retail price of that would be subsequent. The norm is a 3-time margin. In other words, from what our actual cost of goods are, we would take that number, multiply it times 3 times.
So what would you sell your wine, Sanders wine,
So
for
the average price of the wines that
after
we
being
sold there,
rebottled?
the average price of the wines that we would sell there, with discounts, including the discounts, there was always a discount if they bought 6 or 12. And that's the way most of our wines went out, 6 or 12. So there was a 10%, and then there was a 20% discount for those people who were regular customers with us.
Okay, what is the cost of your bottle of wine?
Cost of our bottle of wine
Retail.
is probably around averages around $4.47 or something of that nature. Now that includes Franzia. That includes our bottles, corks, labels, labor, transportation, because our bottles, all of our bottles come in by the truckload. So,
okay.
And I can tell you the transportation has been very, very expensive.
Okay.
The last 5 years.
I think I'm done, yeah. No more questions from the board at this point when we go to the public? Okay, we're going to open this to the public comment.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Melody Keith, Keith. I am very disturbed because I love the winery there. I love the activities. I have purchased quite a few single bottles of wine as gifts, and I did not pay $4 for them. I don't know where to go with this because I feel like Pahrump is losing something that we love, but yet I don't feel that Mr. Sanders is an honest businessman, and I don't know if he can even handle the winery as it is now. Is there somebody that can take it over for him? I don't know, but that's my opinion.
Thank you. Sam, do you have anybody?
Yes, Chair, the caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Hello, Commissioners. Michael David Garcia, Garcia, and I would like my comments entered on the record. Anybody that knows me for the last 5 years knows I've been tagging both Nye County as well as the FTC number 5, and I've been trying to put an and/or in it because the way it reads on a federal level is unfair, deceptive practice. And for me, this is all a void judgment. You know, this man obviously coming here squealing like a canary, and he has no idea what he's saying is going to be used against him. You know, either he's the best con man because he described legislative fraud, right? Or he's genuinely trying to do the right thing. But one or the other, we got to do it right. Nobody's ever Mirandized this guy. He has no idea what's going on. And I just think we need to figure out what's going on because this is exactly what I've been trying to articulate. You know, what about the mandates? What about the jabs? What about when y'all make a mistake? See the double standard there? But anyhow, I'm sure y'all will figure it out. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Michael. Go ahead, sir. Yes.
Again, my name is Doug Campbell, Campbell. I've known Jack for a very long time when he still had the original winery up on the hill. I was born and raised in Las Vegas. I moved here 7 years ago, brought my business in with me. Jack offered the use of his facility for me to meet my guests and operate from his winery. He's done an awful lot of wonderful things for the community. He employs people, brings revenue into the county, into the city, whether it's for buying other products or buying, through taxes. In a nutshell, I feel that closing the winery down would be an unfair thing for the valley. He's done a whole lot more good for the valley than this one black mark on his reputation. And I would compare it to where if any one of us went into a bar and ordered a gin martini with a higher grade alcohol and was served something with a house alcohol instead. It's a mistake. He's fessed up to it. He's willing to move on behind it. And I do want to clarify one thing, a question that Sheriff mentioned. I believe you were looking for retail price, what he was selling his wines for, and not what he was into it. Is that what you were looking for?
This isn't a question.
Okay, I'm sorry. Because most of Jack's wines would sell between about $10 and $14 a bottle. And there's printed paperwork on that in the winery. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Ginny Okawa, Okawa. I don't know what to say. This is a very disappointing and sad and kind of heartbreaking situation. I and my husband have been out to Sanders Winery many times, enjoying the shows and the wine. It's very disappointing. Customers and visitors, I feel like we have been defrauded, and there should be some kind of consequences. I do like Jack very much. He's done a lot of good for our community, but I do feel like there should be some kind of consequences. I would hate to see the winery totally shut down, but what he did was wrong, and I don't know. I just feel like there should be some kind of consequences here. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anybody else on the phone, Sam?
Yes, Chair, the caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
S. Borisevich, BorySewich. I don't drink wine because it gives me a really bad headache. But the thing is this gentleman has been in town for a very long time and has helped other businesses to be profitable here. The one thing I'm kind of concerned about is several of the commissioners know him personally, and I think they should be recused from passing judgment on somebody that they know. I don't know the rules on that, but, you know, Mr. DA, what do you say? However, I don't think you should close down an original winery in town. Maybe you could just set a fine or some sort of oversight committee for a couple of years or something, and he has to pay the salary of the person to make sure that everything that's being done there is up and above legal. I don't think you should close him down. He seems to be a very generous man that has done the right thing by telling you everything that he can. The truth speaks for itself, and as long as he's speaking the truth, then I'd say, you know, a fine and maybe an oversight committee. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Go ahead.
My name is Ann Underdahl, Underdahl. I'm a local in this community. I'm an old woman, and when I was a young bride, cake mixes had just come out, and I used a cake mix. When I baked cake, my mother had a fit. What Mr. Sanders has done is he's taken his base product, which are the grapes, and he replaced them with something that was already liquid. So he made some adjustments to his formula. But the big issue here is, did he know the law and what he was doing was wrong? He's admitted that this was not the best solution. I agree that everyone knows he's done a lot for our community. He's done a lot for the industry. I think the point here now is, will we allow him to move forward? He says he has a plan to correct things. He has vines he can plant for a new season in the future. So do you decide to take away his business license for a while and let him start again? This is not a court of law. It's a court of what are we going to do that's best for our community and for his business. So, you know, there needs to be some way of him giving back to the community for the problem he's caused, whether that's teaching other vintners or doing other things while he waits a time period to have his license renewed.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Alexis Decker, Duecker, just like it sounds. I have known Prump for a long time. My family's been living here for almost 40 years. And whenever I tell people about Prump, the thing they say is, oh, they have wineries out there. It's the only reason anyone would go out there. So I don't agree with that take, but I've heard it a lot. And this man's the one who created that. Without him, that wouldn't exist. So, yes, he made a mistake for a prolonged period of time. But that being said, over the amount of years he's been contributing to the community, I think it's important that we help work past this. And part of that being, we've heard over and over again that he has not had legal representation. Please get legal representation. You can't handle this on your own. And because he's really good at his craft, his craft isn't going to be the legislation or even just the licensing. That's a lot of times that's why people hire lawyers to do that stuff. Please, I urge that. But we do need to stick together as a community. He's a staple of the community, and fines, appropriate auditing from time to time, I think would all be viable solutions. But yeah, he created winery in Pahrump, so that would be my recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have somebody?
Yes, Chair, the caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Hi, this is Tim Bohannon, Bohannon. As background, I've got 15 plus years of dealing with matters requiring attention from an OCC perspective. Now, granted that some of those are much bigger entities, obviously, but I think the principles are important. One, we do have an ownership of the issue, and I do agree with the last caller about getting legal representation. That is absolutely necessary. But there's a couple other things. He has been a pillar of the community for decades, and I think that is very important. However, there need to be clear remediation steps similar to special conditions, and I'm sure the county manager is familiar with those. And I'm sure that most of the board is familiar with it as well. But special conditions on anything that happens with this operation going forward. What I would like to see is that the reputation gets restored, because I think that's an important aspect and would add to our history, if you will. However, there are steps that need to be done, and the public needs assurances that there will not be fraud created here, and that's constructively what it is. So that's the other reason why I suggest getting an attorney and making sure that you have yourself covered from that standpoint, Mr. Sanders, is make sure you do have representation. But we appreciate that you're coming openly, but there's steps that need to be done if there's going to be operation, and providing assurance to the public that you're going to operate appropriately is absolutely one of them. And the BOCC, your responsibility is making sure that he gets the job done. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Tina Dixon, Dickson. I met Jack many years ago. Actually, I think I met Betsy first. And so we have a long history. And I just wanted to speak on his behalf. I think I agree with most of the previous speakers that we really don't want to lose Jack or the winery. So if you could come up with a plan that would appease the rule gods, I guess. But and as a partaker of wine, I did feel some kind of way when I learned that it wasn't exactly what I thought it was in the bottle. But we're all human. We all make mistakes. And I hope we can all get past it as a community and not lose what I would consider a landmark. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mellow.
He doesn't drink wine?
Richard Goldstein, Goldstein. I've known Mr. Sanders for a number of years. He made a mistake. He has taken responsibility for that mistake. And in the past, we've given offenders of the law second, sometimes even third chances. I think it's time we give Mr. Sanders a second chance. We can put some type of watchdog on it, but he knows what he's done wrong, and like I said, he's taken responsibility for it. So it's time to forgive and move on. Thank you.
Thank you. Samantha, you got anybody?
No, Chair.
Thank you. I guess no further public comment. We'll close public comment.
Chair, this may be out of our hands.
Okay?
The state hears this. This is, NRS has been broken. This isn't just Nye County code, and the public needs to know that.
I see that as being a possibility, yes. Unfortunately, it's, in a way, it's sort of double jeopardy, but not, because there are two different regulatory authorities, the county and the state.
Yeah, but maybe the point could be that if we gave him his license back, the state's going to turn around and probably take it.
Or they could choose to be lenient also.
Correct. That's my problem.
And I don't believe that we really have a fine authority.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I have a thought.
Oh.
Well, just one. What if we were to continue the suspension for a period of 6 months or whatever, to give the state time to figure out if or what they're doing, and to give Mr. Sanders a period of time to come up with a solid plan? Koenig says 3 months.
I like 3 months.
Because what if, with that idea, I think it's a great idea. And the reason I say that is because what if the state were to say, you know what, he can't have a bottling license anymore, but he can have he can sell wine. So he can keep using that boxed wine, sell it to the public for whatever he wants to sell it for in a glass, not in a bottle, right? And everybody knows what the wine is, and he still maintains a winery.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps the state would allow something like that to go on. But we need to let the state know that we're in this position, and we don't like it. We want to fix it.
I really think that if we revoke his license at this point, that he's going to lose the property also.
Yeah, there's a big loss to this community.
That's huge. And I hate to see that happen.
You're not alone. That's what I like.
May I be recognized, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
What is the process for a timeline if another operator or license holder would, say, apply and then be granted the ability to sell in that same facility? What's the process for that as far as a timeline?
Yeah, Sam, what does it take, about 90 days?
Can I have the whole question again, please?
What would be the timeline for if there was another individual that would take over possession of this facility and apply for a license to continue operations?
For operation of the facility even. Correct? You could be the...
Another liquor license. What's the
winemaker.
process from start to finish as far as time of application to time of receiving a license to sell and whatever else manufactured?
Hi, thank you. At the time of a complete application, where we do our fingerprinting and move forward with the background, it can be anywhere from 7 to 10 weeks.
Is there any way to expedite that? Can we do that, or is that not within our control?
No, sir, that's, it has to do with the state. And
Okay, thank you.
processing.
So if one of the board chooses to be the licensee and operate in his behalf, and he is the owner of the property, nobody on the board wants to do that.
No, I
Ready
don't.
to make a motion.
All right, Chair.
Love to hear a motion.
Thank you. Chair, I move to reinstate the suspended retail liquor license for Mr. Sanders.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have so if I am not mistaken, give him his license back is your motion.
Yes, reinstate. His license has been suspended, and I move to reinstate the suspended license. Of course, you've already heard what I said. The state will come in and there will be fines, et cetera. And Mr. Sanders will have to be accountable to them as well.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And we'll take a vote.
No.
Boscovich, nay.
Nay.
Jabor's aye.
Aye.
And I would vote no.
I'd like to make a motion since that one failed.
Yes.
That one failed, Chair.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to, oh, come on, you do it, Boscovich. What would you-
Chair, if I may?
Sure.
The recommendation of the department would be to continue the suspension while the case or charges or state or whomever want to work out how this will proceed for Mr. Sanders as a licensee at a state level, or whatever might play out or be charged with those charges.
As stated, 90 days.
Second. You good with that, Kelly?
Motion
We got it.
to
Thank you.
continue the suspension 90 days pending, and then we'll come back here and decide again.
Right.
A motion and a second?
Was there a second?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, Chair, who did second that? I'm sorry. We
It
didn't
was
get
me,
that.
Kelly. Thank you.
You made the motion, I thought.
No.
Boscovich made the motion.
My apologies. Thank you.
No, thank you.
And Chair, if I may also clarify, I want to make sure we align with our BOCC meeting dates. So if we were to come back and reevaluate in 90 days, that wouldn't align with our meeting dates. So I would like to set a date of April 15th to come back and reevaluate.
Amended.
So amended.
So we have a motion and a second to continue the suspension to the date of April 15th, 2025. And unless there's any further discussion, we'll take a vote.
Aye.
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 No.
And I vote aye. Do you-
DA, there's one problem here I'm afraid of. We decided to, oh, the revocation, never mind, we're okay, we're just continuing. Excuse me, Chair, we're
No
good.
problem.
You good if we, are you good to do 13? Well, we have you.
It'll take nothing. Item number 13.
Item 13 for possible action, discussion and deliberation to approve a packaged liquor license and a gaming license for Black Willow Corp., DBA Shoshone Market, located at 52660 Nevada Highway 376, Round Mountain, Nevada. Gary Saboda and Tanya Saboda, licensees and applicants.
Thank you. So this is a application for packaged liquor and gaming license. The application was presented, the background investigation was completed, and there was nothing derogatory that would prohibit the issuance of the license. Samantha, do you have anything further?
No, Chair.
Okay. So we'll open this for public comment. And nothing here. Anybody on the phone?
No, Chair, and we do have our licensees in the, or the applicants rather, in the chambers in Tonopah.
In Tonopah. Okay. Do you have anything you would like to present to us, Gary and Tanya? Shaking head.
Hi, my name is Tanya Svoboda. It's S-V-O-B-O-D-A. We have nothing to add at this time. I do want to say one little thing. Samantha was wonderful to work with. You know, we went through the application with the state, and, you know, it's been somewhat exhausting through all of it, and Samantha was a great help. So we appreciate that.
Very good. She is good at what she does. Any further comment? Any further public comment? Anything from the board?
Absolutely, motion, go ahead.
Motion to approve, Chair.
Second.
Motion and a second. Unless there's further discussion, we'll take a vote.
Boscovich, aye.
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 Where's I?
Aye.
Thanks.
6-0. And that will close the licensing and liquor board portion. Ball's back in your court.
Thank you, sir. All right, let's hit 16 real quick. And then we're gonna do a lunch. Item 16, consent agenda items. These items that staff recommends for approval. The board reserves the right to move any consent agenda item to the regular segment of the agenda should issues arise that need to be addressed. Discussion of any item from the consent agenda items that needs review before a decision is made.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent items and look forward to public's comments.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Let's open it up to public. We got any public comment on this? Or any of these, I mean.
Chair, I do have comment on the phone.
Okay.
Thank you. The caller is unmuted. Please speak and spell your name for the record.
Karen Waldman, Waldman. I'm requesting this to be part of the public record. In the backup for this agenda item, it asks the applicant to list their organization's case managers and salaries and duties. Each of the four listed make the following salaries: $85,914.66.
Excuse me, we are on consent items. I'm sorry.
Yes, this is 16.5.
Okay, you need to tell us which one. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Okay. $90,209.31 for one, and $102,392.50 for one. The duties are described as thus: performs clerical and technical duties related to administration of public assistance, interviews client and performs case management, assists in budget reviews and employment incentive along with data entry. It then clarifies that all of these staff members are funded through Nye County, with portions of their time being funded through grants. Does anyone but me think that this amount is extraordinary for the duties listed? Every time that Nye County hires staff, our bottom line gets heavier and more difficult to support. You have some fantastic staff here. Your office staff that is constantly available to help me with questions and documents is absolutely awesome. Thank you to Serena and Celeste. I can't say enough about Janie. Her upbeat attitude is incredible. So is Kiani as well in the planning department, and Corey Friedoff and Kelly Sidman of the county clerk's office in Jenica. The smiles and pleasantness is a welcome respite to a weary soul. I'm not really sure how they keep their cheery dispositions at times. I'm certainly not saying that staff isn't deserving of their pay. I just hope that these eligibility workers in this agenda item receiving these high salaries are in positions that are really needed with the HHS. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, Sam?
No, Chair.
Thank you. All right, we're going to close public comment. You said Corinne's here?
Corinne's there.
Oh, hey,
Corinne, do you want to address this? The chair is
Yeah.
asking.
Feel free to briefly address that if you'd like.
Sure. Corinne Smith, Director of Nye County Health and Human Services, SMITH. I believe the salaries she's referring to are approximately 4 to 5 staff members that help do case management through the grant. It is paid through Health and Human Services. And yes, some of their monies are funded by time that is kept, they're accountable for, that then I charge the grants. And yes, they are most definitely deserving of the monies they're receiving.
Thank you for that. Board, do we have any questions for Corinne?
I think we're good, Chair. Thank you,
All right.
Corinne.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second.
We have a motion and a second. If there's nothing further, let's call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Boscovich, aye.
Where's I?
That carries 5-0, and let's break until, you want 2:30 or 2:15? 2:15, please. I don't know how many minutes that is, but.
Please enter your conference room number followed by the pound or hash sign. Conference room number accepted. If you are organized, this line is now muted. For a menu of available commands, press *1. There are 7 participants in the conference.
To transfer that over?
If you would allow that.
Absolutely.
And then 9, the Tri-County Weed, it's the same thing. Once
Yep.
again, it's BLM related.
Where the hell are they?
Yeah. Anybody there? Yay.
114,
Excuse me, we are on consent items. I'm sorry.
Yes, this is 16.5.
Okay, you need to tell us which one. Thank you.
Thank you, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Okay. 90,209.31 for one and 102,000.
Parcel numbers as identified in the agenda item. Item C, adopt, amend, and adopt or reject Nye County Resolution Number 2025-04, a resolution directing the transfer of Nye County Treasurer Trust property into Town of Pahrump ownership for public purposes. And D, Fund $1,713